Hey everyone, I hope you had a great day. Welcome back to some new r/malicious compliance stories. I hope you enjoy them. The first story is called You Are Too Fast. Let me set the scene. In the UK, as most of you know, we have the NHS. What some people don't know is that in primary care, GPs and the like, that doesn't stop companies from owning a practice and running it like a business on behalf of the NHS. Here's where I come in. I'm a very well qualified member of the team, PhD in my chosen specialty, and you can call me Dr. Give a Heck. Now, as Dr. Gives a Heck, I care about my patients above all else. A large responsibility I had at the practice was home visits for the elderly and housebound. This was all pre-you-know-what. This meant that I would need to often visit very frail patients or those with dementia or other advanced cognitive declines. As you can imagine, this poses a problem if they live alone. Now this wasn't a problem for me, as most patients have carers come in at lunchtime to do things like medication and meals. And they usually know the patients very well. My way of ensuring the best care was to always aim to visit my patients when a carer was present to try to give them the best possible consult. Here's where the bad boss comes in. He noticed that I've been using my lunch break to visit patients. He doesn't like this, as I'm then leaving about 30 to 40 minutes early from my shift. I tried to explain to him that given as I'd been doing a home visit anyway, I wouldn't be in the surgery regardless of where I was or what I was doing. He doesn't like this and doubles down on his jerkiness. Cue my next meeting. He says my consults with ordinary patients in the surgery are too fast. Seriously. He doesn't like that I'm seeing patients safely and effectively up to twice as quickly as other doctors, as it makes them look bad. So I need to use up my entire consult time, or else he'll give me a formal warning. Now, I usually see the simple patients quickly to build up some time in advance to spend on my complex patients, like mental health cases, without having to rush them out the door. He doesn't care. He also says I'm not allowed to visit my patients at lunch during my own time. The second demand almost immediately bites him in the butt, with an influx of angry relatives and carers demanding to know why their loved ones aren't getting the quality care they are used to. I simply say to take it up with the boss, which they do, and our average complaints that month went up tenfold. The consult time directive took a bit longer to pan out, but it was so worth it. I'd see my patient, assess and treat them, and give them their prescription all within my usual time limits. This obviously depends on the patient, but with conditions I'm familiar with, it only takes 5 or so minutes. But the boss says I have to use my full consult time, so we sit there in silence or just making small talk. The boss starts noting that my consult times are exactly 15 minutes to the second and puts me in again. How can it be possible that you see every patient in 15 minutes exactly? Well, you did tell me to. Yes, but what about complex cases? Oh, those? I spent longer on them, but only marks a consult as 15 minutes. He is the kind of guy who loves numbers and doesn't see people, so it infuriated him to no end to see me play his little system like that. He took it to HR, but there was nothing they could do. I also started seeing my home visits in my own time and not going home early. Yes, that is to my detriment, but again, I care about my patients more. About 2 months after this, they call me in for another meeting where I hand in my resignation and tell them another surgery has asked me to join them, and for double the pay. They begged me to stay. To this day, I still occasionally get the job advert for my old position come up on Indeed, and they still haven't filled it. Did you know about the system in the UK? I didn't. Let me know in the comment section below. Let's take a look at another story. This one is called Teacher Gets Exactly What She Asked For. I'm currently in high school, and we have Zoom meetings in almost every class every day for online school. I dislike it, especially having to have our cameras on. I get super self-conscious that anyone in my class could be looking at me, and I wouldn't know. My English teacher, who we'll call Mrs. Stevens, is super extroverted and loves to see her students. This is all fine and dandy, but she obsesses over it. She hates at kids all the time for not having the cameras on, as she wants to see you participating in the class. I personally don't think students should have to invite the class into their personal life for a grade. After a while, she got fed up with people ignoring her demands, so she started docking points for the day's assignment if you didn't have your camera on. I joined a meeting recently without my camera on, as per usual, and I began working on the assignment. She stayed completely silent about my camera for some reason, which I loved for that class. I could work in peace. Later that evening, I get a notification on my phone that I got a 75% on today's assignment. This was terrible for me, because it took my grade in her class down to a B, and I lost my 4.0 GPA. I emailed Mrs. Stevens and asked if it was a mistake or anything. She said something along the lines of, "I need to see you participating in the class." And because I couldn't, I felt it was necessary to deduct 25% from your grade. I told her that I didn't feel comfortable turning my camera on, which I feel is totally reasonable. She gave me a hard no and said, "Nobody is watching you in class, they are watching me because I'm the teacher. You will get used to it eventually." I was mad. All I want is a little bit of privacy. Sure, not all the kids stare, but we all have moments where we got lost staring. I decided I would turn my camera on, but I wanted her to regret it. I downloaded a super glitchy, flashy, bright and disgusting glitch effect that I could put over my camera using a plugin for OBS that I found online. It lets you use OBS as your camera, so I could add whatever I wanted. The next day, I show up for the meeting and turn my camera on. A few minutes into the lesson, I turn on the glitch effect and lower the frame rate of my camera to make it look like I was just lagging. Mrs. Stevens asked me what was happening. So I replied that I think my Wi-Fi is being slow or something. She moved on with the lesson, but you could tell that she was starting to get annoyed by this constant flashing on her screen while she was talking. There aren't enough kids in the class for her to simply put me on another page, and I don't think she knows how to turn my camera off herself. I began to enjoy seeing her reaction. So after I finished my assignment, I started messing around with it a little. I started flashing random things on my camera, like pictures of Shrek, memes, whatever came to my mind pretty much. She pulled me aside after class. Keep in mind, my camera still had the glitch effect going. She lectured me on how having my camera on like that was distracting me, even though I finished my assignment after only 15 minutes or so. I just said, "You wanted me to turn my camera on, so I did. You never told me what I had to have on my camera." She kind of rolled her eyes a little and just gave in. I don't have to have my camera on in that class anymore. She also apparently emailed my parents about me being distracting. When I showed the plugin to my parents, they found it hilarious and didn't care all that much. I wasn't distracting any of the other students, and I was already done, so no problems here. And today's last story is called "Sure, I Can Wait." This was about 15 years ago during my senior year of undergrad at a large East Coast university. A few friends and I were out for dinner at a local bar/restaurant which was very busy. We were seated in a booth, which was one of a series of booths along the back wall of the dining area. While we were eating, I noticed the table next to us started to look very shifty. It was a group of 3 guys, and they had a large meal and a lot of drinks. I'm in the edge seat of our booth, and the waitress is taking the order of the booth next to us. Her back is to the guys I have predicted are about to ditch their bill. It's a college town. The waitress was young and more than likely working to put herself through school. So I thought I would try to be helpful. I turned to her while she is talking to the table next to us. "Excuse me, miss?" "Sir, I'll be right with you." 15 seconds pass. The guys are gathering their stuff. "Excuse me, miss?" "Sir, I will be right with you." 15 seconds pass. The guys get up and bolt for the door. "Miss, I'm sorry to interrupt, but..." Her interrupting me. "Sir, please wait." So I wait. She leaves the booth next to us to do something and comes back 2 minutes later. "Okay, sir, how can I help you?" Me pointing at the now empty booth. "I was trying to tell you those guys were about to run out on the check." She immediately turns pale white. She rushes to look in the booth and then runs for the front door. No luck, those guys were long gone. She came back and gave me some minor apology and thanked me. We asked for our check, paid and left. I'm sure they probably took the cost of those meals out of her paycheck. People who run college town restaurants aren't known for being the fairest people in the world. Though I try to help. Thanks for watching the video to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another of my videos.